Right, we are live on Facebook.
Exciting.
Facebook. Hello, Stephie. How are you?
I am very well, thank you.
I'm always doing this. I can't cope with two screens thing.
I know. I've literally unplugged one of my screens. I'm like, yep, I'm here. Otherwise, I'll be, oh, what's
Yeah,
going on
I'm
over
here. Well, thank you very much for joining me. So, depending on where people are watching us, do say hello. If you're saying hello on Facebook, on my personal page, or on my Pup Talk page, I think we should be able to see your comments as they come through. So do say hello and drop any comments in. If you're watching on Instagram, I'm not going to keep looking at my phone, but do say hello and tag other people in if you want to remind them that Pup Fest is coming. And it also will go out onto YouTube as well. So I've been fiddling about with new tech this week, which is always good. Stephie, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. Very excited for Pup Fest. It's got a great lineup. So excited for it.
I'm not sure if I'm excited or I'm still in a bit of a last minute spin. It's my birthday tomorrow, but I'm not going to be having the day off. It's kind of like that. There's still a lot to do. Yeah. So my birthday is doing this stuff.
Excellent. You can have a birthday month, can't you? You don't have to have a birthday day.
I think on Monday, I'm going to have my birthday on Monday. I'm just sort of parking it for a few days. So thank you for joining me. So what I wanted to do was just to chat to a few of our speakers in the run up to it all kicking off on Friday. So hence, brilliant that you could join me today. Why don't you kick off? I just want people to get to know people a little bit more if they don't know you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
So I'm Stephie, and I go by the name of the Shouty Barky Dog Lady. So I deal a lot with the shouty barky ones, the sensitive ones, the foreign rescues often come over and are really, really sensitive and a bit barky, and also separation anxiety as well. So yeah, that's me.
Amazing. And I have been asking some of my guests as to have they got a kind of a funny dog disaster story. Maybe kick us off with that.
Yes. So when I was a child, I was not allowed a dog and I was not allowed a cat. So instead, I managed to persuade my parents to let me bring home the school gerbils for the holidays. And I was about 11 or so, something like that. And I had these gerbils that I brought home, and I taught them using reward-based training to do agility. And I absolutely loved doing this agility with the gerbils. So I had my own gerbils at that time. I got through, I don't know how many pairs of gerbils I had. I had about 6 gerbils at one time, all next to each other in their little things, having gerbil agility competitions. Blue Peter style, I made my own little egg cup trophy for the winning gerbil. I loved it, but I wasn't allowed any dogs or cats. And then when I got married, it never occurred to me that a dog would not be in somebody's life plan. Never even crossed my mind that my chosen life partner would not want a dog. And the reason was he was scared of them. So when our kids were quite a bit older, heading off to university, we started to foster service dog puppies, because it was a short-term commitment. Little puppy arrives, 7 weeks old. We keep them for a year and then hand them back, and they carry on their journey. And he was kind of like, well, okay then, since it's a year's commitment, if I don't like the puppy, if I don't like the dog, if I'm scared, I can just live upstairs for a year. And if I'm really scared, then we can hand the puppy back, and there's a backup crew, somebody else to take it on. And we have a lot of support. There's a lot of behavioural support, a lot of training support came along with this puppy. So she arrived 7 weeks old. Actually, she arrived at 8 weeks old. She was delayed a week because the whole litter got poorly. The whole litter had Campylobacter. So this puppy arrives with Campylobacter, and everything that I did was wrong. Everything. My supervisor wasn't around, so I couldn't ask for advice. So I was just like picking advice from other people that were involved in the program. And I got it completely wrong. And we ended up, the first night she screamed so much all night long. The second night, that next day, my husband moved out. he went to live in a hotel. Thankfully, he came back. So, and I stopped following other people's advice, and I followed my heart, and I stayed with her. So the next couple of nights, I just stayed with her until I got the support that I needed from the service dog organization, who did come along and give me some reasonable advice. It wasn't perfect. And I think that's what started me down the route of looking for alternatives, looking for why wasn't this advice that this organization that know what they're doing, why wasn't this advice working for this puppy in front of me? And why wasn't similar advice working for many, many puppies and dogs that I was seeing out in the day-to-day life? So that's why I started looking down the different routes, and that's where I sort of came across I couldn't label it as trauma at the time. Now I can, but at the time I couldn't label it as trauma. But that's what this puppy had. She was traumatized. She had trauma from the way I treated her on that first night, and she had trauma from the discomfort that she was in with a really sore tummy. I mean, Campylobacter, it's not pleasant. So that's my disaster story. He left home, this, but all rolled into one disaster story, and why I ended up doing what I do.
Wow. And how long ago was this that you had this puppy?
This was 2016. So what's that? 7-8 years ago.
Yeah. And things have changed so much, isn't it? I like the knowledge. It just feels like the pace at which we're learning is really speeding up. I've only been in the industry for 5 years, so I can't judge longer than that because I don't know it. But that's what it seems to be in what my experience is so far.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing about trauma as well, it doesn't have to be big. And that's something that I learned myself, because I had a very critical upbringing. Nothing bad ever happened to me, but it was a very critical upbringing from family. And it's only by working through all of that I've realized, that is trauma. That being not necessarily accepted for doing something that's not quite perfect is trauma inducing. And it can be small things like that. I mean, we tend to think of trauma as being wars or trauma as being something terrible that's happened, and it doesn't have to be. It can be small.
Yeah. It's just going slightly off at a tangent. It's interesting that we started off the conversation with gerbils, because actually my conversation yesterday with Sarah Roper also started off with the small furries. And I just realised you've prompted me. I have terrible recall. You prompted me because I said, I had a gerbil as well. But you said you always had pairs of gerbils, and I've just remembered I had a pair of gerbils and then I had a hamster, because that's the right way around, isn't it? You have to have a hamster solo, but you have to have gerbils together.
Yes.
So I've just gone down a complete small furry animal tangent, but it's very bizarre because that's where both of the conversations started. So there's definitely a pattern in that, when I couldn't have a dog when I first left home. I was 17, I think, when I left home to go to art college, and I couldn't have a cat even, let alone a dog. So I went down the small furry route for a while.
And they're great. They're really, really great pets. Yeah. They need a lot more than people may think they need. They cannot live in a small cage.
It was amazing. Anyway, it's not rodent fest. Let's go. And so how has your working with dogs developed since that start where you realized you didn't know enough to support the dog?
So I was very much instruction based to begin with. We need to teach this dog how to do this thing, and that has so changed. I very, very rarely do any teaching of the dog how to do something, unless it's how to get out of dodge. If in those situations, absolutely, we need to teach them what to do in those situations and how to respond. But The dog is a co-pilot of its own learning, and we need to just be there guiding, leading them towards the directions that we want them to go in, but they have to learn it for themselves. Yeah. And that is so different to how I started.
And things like that. Obviously, I mean, I know you do, you teach ACE free work as well. Yes. And it's funny, I'm doing my module 2 with Sarah at the moment.
Wonderful.
I thought that would be a great time to do that while I'm planning Pup Fest. I was on a session on Monday, and one of the clips of videos from inside the training barn, you were in the background of it.
Fabulous.
But yeah, so ACE free work is like, that approach is such an integral part of a lot of what you do, isn't it?
Absolutely, because ACE free work is not just enrichment. We start off with it as a kind of enrichment type activity, but it is not just enrichment. There's so much learning goes on in that kind of environment. It's like how we teach autistic children and nonverbal children in a multisensory environment.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. So sorry, we're digressing all over the place. So your session is on day 1. It's on Friday. So when everything gets released, it's either going to be 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or however I've got it set up. If the tech's all going to work, fine. If it doesn't, I'm sure everyone will let me know. So your session is going to be one of the first ones that people can see on day 1. So for anybody that doesn't know, the way that we've got it set up, there is not set times that you have to be online in order to watch a session. So this is very much trying to make stuff as easy as possible for you to watch the sessions that you want to watch. You can either binge them all. You can binge day 1 on day 1, and you can binge day 2 on day 2, etc. Or you can dip in and just prioritize the ones that you've got the time for, and then come back to the others when you have the time. So yeah, Stephie's session is coming out on day 1. Give us a little bit of a teaser without giving away too much, because people need to go off and find it on Friday. Give us a little teaser as to what it's about, and what sort of people and what sort of dogs do you think it's really going to help?
Absolutely. So we were talking about trauma, and trauma can be not being heard when we're in pain or discomfort. So and it's really, really difficult for us humans to be able to see discomfort in our dogs, because they show it in different ways. So, and the way that the brain works means that our vets quite often can't see it. So in my talk on Friday, I'll be going through all about how why it gets missed by so many people, how we can see it, and what to do when we can see it too.
Yeah. Brilliant. I love that. And no more. We're not giving them any more than that. They need to go off and watch it. And also, you've got a lovely little digital freebie in the festival goodie bag as well.
I have, yeah. So that is it's a kind of an add-on to that the talk that I'm doing, which goes through the 5 steps to emotional well-being. It's a lovely little booklet. It's electronic. You don't have to download anything. You can just go and read it there, and yeah, it'll take you through my steps to be able to support your dog in the best way that you can, so that they've got the best emotional health that they can possibly have.
That's brilliant. And that, that really supports my way of learning. I really struggle to take information in through my ears. Like, my ears just don't work, or they're not very well connected. I can hear, but they don't connect very well with my brain and my memory. Whereas if I'm listening, and then I've also got something to read and to watch in terms of diagrams and stuff like that, that multi-layer of learning just makes a huge difference to me as to how much I can take on board. So that's amazing.
Nice.
Wonderful. So if you are watching this and you're thinking, I've got no idea what they're talking about, there is lots of posts all over social media about Pup Fest. So we've got 3 days. We've got 17 speakers from all over the globe that have given it their time. And our theme is all about helping dogs, that we're empowering dogs and empowering you if your dog is reactive, nervous, sensitive, even overexcitable. Bodhi is a reactive dog. He doesn't present as a barking, lunging mess, but he is a very reactive dog. And, yes, the definition of reactive is interesting. we all have to be reactive, or else we'd be dead. All animals would be. But I think it's a helpful term for a lot of people to have some descriptor of, yes, that kind of fits my dog. But it may be that they're very lacking in confidence. They're very nervous. Or they're just very, very fizzy and very over energetic. So there's lots and lots of incredible learning that is going to be available this weekend. And you can sign up for free to watch all of it until Tuesday night. So you've got up to 5 days to watch everything. And all you need to do is sign up to the guest list, and just with your name and your email address. And then I'll be sending out some details tomorrow as to how people are going to access everything and the digital goodie bag. And there's also competitions and things like that to take part in. We've got over £1,000 worth of prizes up for grabs for doing not very much, like posting photos, one of your favorite photos of your dog smiling. Like, it's not a big ask. Amazing prizes for doing what we all do anyway. So the link, I think, should be above this post or somewhere around this post, depending on where you're watching it. So do sign up if you're not already. And if you know someone that you think might really enjoy this, then tag them on this post, or tag them in something, or share this with them, or just screenshot it and send it to them on a text or WhatsApp, however you get it to them. We want to get as many people to be able to take advantage of this as possible. Right, I think that's enough flanneling on from me. Thank you so much for popping in to talk to us this afternoon. I will leave you to the rest of your day, and just to say thank you again for your session, and I can't wait to hear people's reactions to it.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure.
All right. Take care, Stephie. Bye.
Bye-bye.